Back everyone, welcome back. Welcome back here to the Douyu Cup. Douyu Cup 2026 day number 2. We just wrapped up with our show match and now we're getting ready for the main event. I'm of course SIVIP. With me I'm joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome one and all. This is a big offline event happening in China, a big Legends event with a bunch of players from years gone by. We can see Oliveira now jumping into the casting couch to cover the event, and we have a plethora of players available here. A blast from the past, some names we have not seen in a very long time. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be beautiful. Before I get ahead of myself though, a big shout in the chat. Thank you so much to Silly Dobby. God, Pappy God, thank you so much for subscribing for 17 months. Thank you, Pappy, thank you. Do appreciate the support. Hope you enjoy the content, the casting of the StarCraft. Likewise, we appreciate the kind words in the YouTube chat as well. From me, praising our voice. Thank you, thank you, and Leo as well, praising our casting. So we appreciate it. We do our best. We do our best with what we bring to you, and with all the casting and all the StarCraft that we cover. We do our best. But thank you. We appreciate it. Do appreciate the kind words. As we are getting ready here for the main event, we're going to be jumping into Group B, and Group B is going to be live. We're going to be jumping into Impact versus Neeb. You would have seen shots of the players conducting vetoes and organizing their setups. Again, Impact has not played in a very long time. Neither has Neeb. Neeb, I want to say, okay, let's guess. Neeb, I want to say he retired in 2024, right? Was it 2020? It was relatively recently. I want to say that Estrella had like a 1 or 2 years of dominance. So I want to say 2024. Let's have a look. Neeb Wikipedia. Let's have a look. Show us what you got. Around 2024. So again, like in recent history, but just opening it up. Likewise, Impact, he went military service. I want to say Impact retired in Legacy, and he tried to come back for a little bit and then left. Did bodybuilding. COVID era? Did he? I want to say he retired like maybe 2020. So first things first, Neeb. Neeb, he retired in, let's see, 2023. I was 1 year off. So our guess was 2024. Neeb retired in 2023. Meanwhile, let's have a look at Impact very quickly here. For Impact, I'm guessing COVID era, so like 2020 for Impact. So Neeb has been out of the game for 3 years, over 3 years. Since Neeb retired, which is crazy to think about, by the way. I can't believe it's been 3 years. For Impact, he retired. My guess was 2020. He retired, 2020, June of 2020. We got it, man. We got it. Aye. So Neeb has been out of the game for 3 years. Impact has been out of the game for 6 years. Double that amount of time. Crazy, baby, crazy. 6 years. So it's been a while. It has been a while here, and we'll see how they can relate to each other. Because Neeb was more active in more recent times, I do have to give the edge to Neeb, right? It's been 3 years, very short in comparison to some of these other competitors here tonight. So because of that, I do give the edge to Neeb coming into this series. But at the same time, I got a lot of love for Impact, ex-Axiom player. Likewise, Zerg has been very dominant in this patch. Bearing in mind, this is in the live version of the game, so new patch for this tournament. And Impact has been looking very strong in that respect. Oh, sorry, Zerg has been looking very strong in that respect. So, because of that, there's definitely potential for Neeb to pop off. For Impact to pop off over Neeb. We'll see. It's a hard one to call, because the reality is, like, who can predict? Impact, calm down with his bicep. But who can predict like what level of play Impact is really at, right? Like, they've all been practicing in preparation for this tournament. That is true, but how much fruit has been born like from that practice? Will that practice bear fruit, I should say? Let's go. Let us go. As we are looking to jump in, we have our first series. Would you like to enjoy our game? Vámonos, papi, vámonos. Neeb's year was 2016 when he won Castle Cup. Yeah. When he was in the Team Unity team house. But let's go. Well, I guess I was pre-Team Unity. But let's go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we do have Neeb for onside. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have Impact. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It will soon be, I wasn't ready for this, it will soon be Gamma time. So one moment as I set up the predictions, and you can place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Bam, there we go. Predictions are now open. It's only 3 years. 2020 was last year, right? Smurge. Smurge, baby, Smurge. If anyone wants to go back and watch Keswick Cup 2016, his entire run was sick. Yeah. Neeb, he, like, 2016 was definitely like a really strong year for Neeb. I mean, he still had like an era of dominance around that period as well. That was like his breakout tournaments where he won a big major event, a premier tournament in Korea, of course. But even surrounding that, like, he was playing very, very well. And was arguably the best foreigner in StarCraft. Arguably. But here we go. Here we go. For now, we're going to be settling in. And welcome to Rainfall. Rainfall is... Oh, sorry, my apologies. Let's get the music going. Beautiful. Welcome to Rainfall. Rainfall is a small map of the map pool. Smaller map of the map pool. Short rush distance by ground. Aggression is favored. Speaking of aggression, gas first. Oh, gas first out of impact. Now, I did just mention that this map does favor aggression, does favor all-ins. And with a gas first build here, impact can get faster link speed, could even go into a faster lair, or could even go into a faster Roach Warren or even a Bane Bust. Right? There's a lot of aggressive and tech options available here for Neeb. Probe Scout does confirm that gas was taken. So Neeb is now somewhat aware of Impact's build. Somewhat aware as to what's going on. So Neeb should be taking this seriously. So far, I just went for the gate expand into Cybercore, standard opener out of Neeb. Link speed has begun, link production is underway, and what's important here, is Impact mining more gas? The answer is yes. So it looks like Impact, he does leave one in gas, it looks like. Oh, second gas on the way? Okay, that's my apologies. So leaves one in gas, does go for the extractor trick. Because there's one in gas, this may... I don't see this going into a Bane Bust. You'd leave two in gas if it was going to be a Bane Bust. Leaving one gas is really interesting though, because again, you typically don't need gas that early on in ZVP. This might lean in towards a lair. We'll see. As typically, like, more mineral income would be more beneficial, like this early on. Link picks in, chasing down the workers, Adept is on the way. And he wants that probe map, he wants him, and can he get him? Oh, one more shot. Oh, does. Okay, one probe does go down. Not a bad pick off here by Impact. Meanwhile, back at home, where we do see a Stargate opener by Neeb, it is spotted by Impact's early Ling, and... oh no! Looks like we do have some latency issues to begin the event. So it looks like Neeb is lagging out a little bit here. Oof. For those that maybe weren't here in day one, there were connectivity issues kind of sporadically throughout the event. Oh, hold on. They were sporadically. Like, when I say sporadically, I mean maybe once a series, which is still a lot, but like once in a best of three, either the observer would lag out or a player would lag out. So that was plaguing... yeah, that was plaguing the tournament yesterday, and I was hoping that maybe coming into day two that would be ironed out, but doesn't bode well that game one of the first series we do have some connectivity issues here. As I mentioned, like, sometimes it's just something that's out of your control, right? Like the internet's at the venue, or stability issues when it comes to Blizzard servers. Like, it's hard to say exactly what it is. I can imagine as a tournament organizer, it can be very frustrating. It can be very, very frustrating to run an event, and then something like this is you know, becoming an issue, and what can you really do to like alleviate that? It's I'm sure frustrating, for sure. I mean, not just for the tournament organizers, but for the players as well. Now, thankfully, this is early on in the game, and there's nothing really intense going on at the moment. We're not like in the middle of a big fight, or we're not like, you know, 10 minutes into the game when you're like getting your rhythm going and you're getting your macro cycles going and things of that nature. Thankfully, it's early, but again, hopefully, this is something that doesn't occur too often throughout the course of the tournament. Like, day one was brutal. Hopefully less so in day two. But based on what we were seeing here, so it was a Neeb going for a Stargate opener, which is standard. Impact, despite going into early link speed, I don't think I saw a link flood. So it's a bit of an odd build. It's a very inefficient build out of Impact, just because early link speed and ZVP doesn't really achieve much. That's also why I was taking note of the continued gas income from Impact, because again, early gas that quickly, that heavily, unless you're going for some kind of all-in, like doesn't really benefit the Zerg player too much here. So we'll see what Impact is able to accomplish with link speed. We'll see what is done with that continued gas income. Like that's what I'm most curious about when it comes to how our players develop on Rainfall. We'll see. Like technically early link speed allows Impact to gain map control and to shut down the adept aggression, I suppose. And he can maybe make a surge of links to delay and deny the third base, but you can do that with like a standard link speed timing anyway, right? Like you you don't need to rush link speed to pull that off, just because it's a little bit too early to you know, properly make use of that timing. So we'll see. We shall see. Our players there might be resuming from replay, because I don't know if you noticed, but it looks like the game did automatically unpause when Neeb's connection came back. But during that unpause period, I don't think Impact was like, you know, had his hands on the keyboard or anything like that. So it just started sporadically, and then like the game continued for a couple of seconds. So I think they might resume from replay like a couple of seconds sooner, so then they can, you know, get into the game, you know, maintain integrity, of course, and play it out. He's catching up. Australia's the closest to Neeb's performance as an American, but I'd argue Neeb had more success in the shorter period of time he competed in. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone would argue that Neeb had greater accolades than Estrella. Like Estrella was there to take up Neeb's mantle when he left. That is true, but Neeb was able to, you know, have higher and bigger placements. Like I don't think anyone is arguing that. Oliveira casting? Yeah, Oliveira, he was casting yesterday as well. It's very common for Oliveira. So for those who are maybe unaware, after Oliveira's retirement, for these big events like Thunderfire or Kung Fu Cup or Stars War 11, for example, or this event, it's very common that because the F9, because SC Boy, the Chinese casters, because like the Chinese scene is so tight knit, it's very common that they bring on players like here, for example, like they would often bring on Coffee or Oliveira or XY or Maxed or Jeshi even as well, to like jump on for like a series, like just to vary things up. So not the first time we've seen Oliveira cast. Yeah, he jumps on every now and then. Whenever he, like, there's an event like this. Which is really nice. Really nice. Of course, big fan favorite. Este Oliveira. Oh, as yet, it looks like we did resume from replay. Bam. All right, let's lock in. So we did resume from replay here, and now we can settle into our game. Link speed is about to finish. Meanwhile, Stargate is on the way. Remember, the Stargate was scouted by Impact, and Impact does make a wave of links behind this. Okay, so we have an extra pair of links on the way, 4 links in production. With this Impact, I don't see him breaking the natural, but I do see him delaying the third base at least, or at least attempting to delay the third. But I still stand by what I said earlier. For example, link speed just finished. Right now, we have like a period of like 30 seconds to a minute where he has link speed, but he's not able to do anything with it, right? Like, I guess he's catching out the adepts. True. Does catch the adepts. But I would still argue that this can be accomplished without early link speed, with a standard link speed timing instead. Adepted full. Oracle's on the way. So far, so good. Again, we do expect a standard opener here by Neeb, just going Stargate into his own third expansion, into Twilight Council-based play. The meta was relatively stable even when Neeb had stepped away from the game, so I'm sure Neeb is very familiar with the current meta. That's the advantage that Neeb has over Impact, is because Neeb retired in more recent years, like the meta was a lot more similar to what it is now when Neeb retired. As is that Twilight Council. as the Oracle does pull away. Impact confirming the Stargate, confirming the Oracle opener. Technically, this could have been Stargate into Phoenix or Stargate into Void Ray. True. Lings, they go for the dive on the probe. It does go for the dive, and the probe should go down. Ooh. So again, nice pick off. Delays the third base a little bit, and then pulls away. From here, Impact is droning. Impact is droning, saturating, building up his 3 bases. Is securing himself. And we're going for a Roach Warren opener. Okay, I do like this on this map specifically. Oh, meanwhile, no Forge. It's going to be a Glaive Adepts. It's going to be Twilight Counter with Glaive Adepts here out of Neeb. Very nice. So, okay, we mentioned at the beginning of this game, and before the pause, it's hard to remember at times. But at the beginning of the game, we did mention that Rainfall is a very aggressive map. It's the new Tourmaline, so aggression is favored. Oh, Neeb, he will cancel Glaives. He does begin Blink instead. I wonder if Neeb saw the Roach Warren, and that might have prompted him to react the way that he did, which would make sense, right? Like, when it comes to the builds, if Neeb had committed into Glaives, he would have been shut down by the early Roach play of Impact. So he does go for the switch into Blink, but I don't see a Forge. So without a Forge being thrown down, Neeb is going to have a weaker mid game, as he's not really set up for that kind of longer game state. But early Blink may be good enough to defend against an all-in, because as I see Roach production, Lings are on the way as well. Lair might just be for Roach speed, but there's an Evo chamber. This is a little bit messy from Impact. Like, we're getting some mixed signals here, where does Impact want to all in or not? If it was to all in, then why are we getting gases, an infestation? Sorry, no infestation. Why are we getting gases, an Evo chamber, and a lair? All of that screams tech. All that screams upgrades. And it does mean that this early Ling Roach production, it's a bit of a waste. So in that sense, it's like a little bit inefficient. We could have droned up and gotten a faster 4th expansion, for example. Overlord speed? And Hydroden? okay. Impact, he's freestyling. He's that's what this is a player that has not been keeping up with StarCraft in recent years. Okay, let's go. So why am I reacting the way that I am? As the Oracles that dip into the main base. Numen's carapace, Overlord speed is typically never researched unless you're going into a German taxi, unless you're going for an all-in, unless you're going for specifically drop a lord play. Okay, drop lords are on the way, so it looks like we are going for some drop lord play. But the fact that we're taking a bit of Hydras, like, it means that if we were to be aggressive, it's going to be a little bit lopsided here, because we're spending a lot of resources in upgrades. Hydra range, Roach speed, +1 range as well, and now Hydras. I'm curious what the plan is here. It looks like we might just go for a Hydra all-in with a Ling drop, but then what's the purpose of Roach speed, right? Like, it feels like we could forego Roach speed and build up more Hydras instead of that. I mean, I guess there are a handful of Roaches and that will benefit them, true, but I don't get the impression that we plan on making additional Roaches. I say that, 10 more Roaches on the way, okay. Impact is cutting workers at 60, so it's going to be a 3-base all-in. 3-base all-in, 60 drones. Hydroden does get spotted, and it's all or nothing for Impact. Now, there is one drop lord on the right-hand side, so there's going to be a Link drop into the main base at the same time. Here comes the main push. And we'll see if Neeb can keep up, as Neeb is trying to take him into Colossus. Remember, Neeb, his +1 is late. We were emphasizing that earlier in terms of his build of choice. Blink will help in the defense, but is it going to be enough? Here comes a drop. Yeah, drop does unload. There's going to be one Colossus to defend, and batteries are finishing up as well. Bearing in mind, batteries were weakened in this patch. They morph in with 75, not 100 energy. So far, drop is denied. And does Impact have enough? Oh, we'll see. We'll see if he does have enough here. Ravagers do push in. Yeah, moving in towards the Colossus. Okay, it does try to move in so far. Nice whole position micro, but he has to get on top of that Colossi. There's a second one on the way. And a massive field of stasis traps. Yeah, stasis traps being thrown down as well. Impact, he does notice. Does bait them. Okay, nice bait. Very nice bait, actually. Baits out 1, baits out 2. There's one stasis trap left. But the Colossus are getting so much value here, but is there enough support? We're running out of Stalkers. Yeah, there's not many Stalkers left over. We have more Lings on the way. Impact bleeding out Hydras and Ravagers. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for Neeb. And Neeb, he is trying to hold on, and he is. Yeah, Neeb, he's holding. He will shut this down. The Colossus that were never pounced upon, all the Hydras do fall, and Impact the All-In is failing. I just did not have enough. The Stasis Traps may not have connected, but they bought a lot of time. They bought a lot of time. Does get one Colossus, just barely. Doesn't get the other. GG gets called, the All-In fails, and Neeb will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Neeb does take a lead in the series. Again, it was a... I would still stand by this. It was a messy all-in out of Impact. I mentioned at the time that it's like this feels like a little bit freestyly. He got workers at 60. Like, I feel like when it comes to these 3-base all-ins, they hit earlier and faster if you just go pure Ling Roach Ravager and like heavier on the Roach Ravager, or if you skip the Roach Warren, or if you didn't make any Roaches and Roach Speed, if you just go pure Ling Hydra, like Ling Hydra all-in instead. Like those, typically we see one or the other, either Roach Ravager or Ling Hydra. Here we saw Ling Roach Ravager, and the issue there is that it takes a lot longer to get going because you're spending your gas elsewhere. You're spending your gas on Roaches and Roach Speed and Hydras and Hydra upgrades and plus on range and Numitaz Carapace. You're spending a lot of resources elsewhere, and that delays the push. That's what's important. It delays the push, it delays the all-in, so it does hit a little bit later. And by the time it does hit, we saw that Neeb, he already had his Colossus, he had a second Colossus on the way, he had enough time to react with all the stasis traps and shield batteries, and in the end, GG. GG, well played. Neeb, he did survive said all-in, he does take the first game, and Neeb is now up in the series. GG, well played. I'm not opposed to the idea of all-inning on Rainfall. I do actually think that it is favored. It is favored to all in on Rainfall as well. The Ling drop in the main base was lackluster, if you recall. Didn't do any damage. Like, we saw that Neeb was able to react. It was a little bit mistimed as well, so again, it was a little bit messy there. And we'll see how Impact does approach game number 2 and what map we load into as well. We'll see. Meanwhile, Neeb was looking very solid, like very solid in his defense. Very nice scouting, very nice reaction. There's a world where if Neeb hadn't realized what was happening, if he had no batteries and stasis traps set up, then maybe Neeb still dies to that, right? Maybe despite the variation of all in, maybe it still works in that kind of position in that scenario if Neeb hadn't been as set up as he was. But let's go. Let us go. As we jump into game number 2. But I do appreciate that like Impact came in obviously with a plan and like the idea of all-inning specifically on Rainfall as well. As we load into larger maps, I would want to see some more mid-game play though out of Impact. True. I would want to see. So I don't quite recall the vetoes, but there we go. Going to be loading into Lockdown and spawning in the top right hand corner. We have the American Protoss player. It is Neeb for onside. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the Red Zerg player from South Korea, Impact. Let's go. Let us go. Beautiful. And welcome on also Lockdown. Lockdown is a larger map. Lockdown is a much more defendable map on 2 bases as well. As you can see here, there is a ramp coming into the natural, so very secure on 2 bases. So I do not expect to see an all-in on this map, at least not from Impact. It would be weaker. It'd be much more difficult to pull off if that were the plan here. So instead, we're expecting to see some mid-game play, joining up to 3 bases, getting a 4th base for Larva, and embracing kind of a more mid-tier army or mid-tech army. But we'll see. We shall see. I'm also, if you remember, I wasn't in love with like the early gas builds from Impact last game either. Impact forced like the unnatural natural. Forced to expand at the 3rd location. Okay. So chat, did Cyan win? I do not know. Cyan series is happening off stream, so I don't have any updates for you. There was some lag during Jeffy versus Trap when there was a huge fight. Yeah. That did happen. Is Max at Cyan match being streamed? It is not. From my understanding, I believe that is happening off stream. Off stream for Max versus Cyan. Just as a heads up. I believe they are both happening at the same time, the 2 series. So now we are going to be building up. This time a much more standard build here by Impact, going hatch gas pool. So much more standard. It's also possible that maybe Impact was afraid of aggression in game 1, which is why he did open early gas. There's a possibility for that. But for now, everything's looking a lot more normal here. We can drone, saturate, link speed is on the way. This time Impact should pull out of gas completely, but he might still be keeping 1 in gas, actually. Yeah, based on the income, it looks like still keeping 1 in gas. Once again, we expect Neeb to go for a Stargate opener. The idea of Neeb going into Glaive Adepts, I feel like he could this game. I feel like there's a higher chance of that working here on lockdown. So Neeb has that option available to him. But now it is the Stargate. Adeptus Shade across. Catching out one of the Zerglings. Again, we'll threaten the mineral line. Oh, at the same time, Impact does... Okay. Impact does slip into the main base with 2 Lings. We'll get a full scout, and we'll confirm the Stargate. And might even get a probe. Ooh, not so. Quick reaction by Neeb. Pulls away. And he pulls away at the same time. Double Adept into the main. Catching out 1, 2, 3 drones. Very nice damage. And nice damage so far. Catching out 3 workers. And does get a 4th drone as well. Yeah, it does get a 4th worker towards the end. So very nice damage by Neeb. He gets away with the Adepts. And so far, this is a rough start for Impact. We'll catch out at least some of the Adepts though. So there's a bit of a back and forth trade here, but this is so far a better trade or a better start for the Protoss. And remember, there's layers to this. First Adept harass and then the Oracle harass as well. It is a brutal start here. This is like a bit of a skill check in ZVP, is to minimize losses against Adept and Oracle harass. And so far Impact is struggling. So a shaky start for Impact. Shaky start. So Oracle moves in. Is spotted here by Impact. Twilight Council follow up here by Neeb. This is a very fast Twilight Council, by the way. Very, very fast. So with this faster Twilight Council, once again, as we mentioned before, we're expecting Glaive. Like, Glaives is an option. Glaives is an option, otherwise you could go early Blink again. We're expecting one or the other. As just like last game, Neeb is going for a delayed Forge. Delayed Forge, delayed upgrade. Evo Chamber first out of Impact. This time he's not going Roaches, which means he's going to be even more vulnerable to Glaives, assuming that's what's coming. Blink. Never mind. Blink is on the way. So this is a safer build. It does mean that if Impact were to all in like last game, then Blink would be ready to defend. As the Oracles are catching the Queen, getting into the main base. 1, 2, 3 drones going down, but ooh, Neeb does overextend. Yeah, big overextension here. We'll lose one of the Oracles, but this is still a better trade for Neeb, catching up 5 drones and a Queen. Ay, ay, ay. That is 9 drone kills in total. Oof. Okay, there it is. 9 drones, 12 Lings, 1 Queen. A very rough start for Impact. Now, I say that I should change my tone here, because if this was the previous patch, I would say the Impact's almost dead completely. Like, like losing 9 workers this early on is pretty unacceptable damage. But with the increased lava rate and with the ability to be able to recover drone-wise that much faster in the current version of the game, I do think that these are losses that Impact can sustain and still recover from. But we'll see. Right? We'll see if he fully can. So far, still on 3 bases. We do need a 4th hatchery soon. There it is. 4th base now going to be on the way. Oh, Impact not looking too bad. I appreciate this, like seeing like player POV. Oof, yeah, as Neeb is moving out. Remember, he does not need a proxy gateway to go for a 3-base all-in anymore. How many gates does he have? Yeah, but now pushing in. He's got his 10 Stalkers. Yeah, warping in 4 Stalkers at a time. He's got those fast warp-ins with the pylon. And a purely Link Queen defense, it's going to be difficult here for Impact. He supply blocked as well. Ooh, no shot. Yeah, brutal supply block. Stalkers, they will overwhelm. They catch out Lings. They go for the Queens. Impact trying to make a stand. Trying to, Pappy. Oof. Yeah, he gets one Stalker. Only one Stalker for all those Zerglings. And with that, Neeb, he's snowballing out of control. Does break on through. This is something that we have seen on the new patch, is the strength of the pylon and strength of gateway aggression like this when you go for early blink. And Impact is falling. At this point, Impact is being broken. As he's bleeding out more Lings. Again, this game did not get any kind of safety Roach Horn or safety tech behind this. Just purely Link Queen. And especially after the earlier losses, yeah, he couldn't afford it, right? He just could not afford it after losing 9 drones in lead up to this. I was like, oh, because it's new patch, like maybe like these are losses that he can sustain. Nah, it's still unacceptable. Like it's still too much. GG gets called. Neeb overwhelms, and Neeb will claim the series at 3-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, a very shaky start for... Oh, hold on. A very shaky start here for Impact. A very shaky start for Impact in regards to the early game aggression. It did lose 9 drones to the Oracle and to the Adepteras, so he had to re-drone, he had to resaturate. Behind it, Neeb went for a 3-base all-in. He went for an AK 3-base all-in. And again, this 3-base play with Mass Blink Stalker does hit faster because of the pylon change. For those that are unaware, so the change that was made is that you no longer need a gateway for fast warp-ins. So usually this build that Neeb went for, going for the early Twilight Council and early blink and going to this AK all-in, is usually hitting a little bit later because you have to wait for the gateway. You have to set up the pylon, you have to set up the gateway in the center of the map. Because you no longer have to wait for that gateway, it does mean that reinforcements hit faster and you can hit harder as a result of that. Yes, you do have to pay to actually morph in your gateways into warp gates, that is true, but the speed at which this hits is that much faster, and with that, Neeb was able to overwhelm and specifically was able to capitalize on the earlier losses of Impact, right? Impact did lose a lot of workers there early on, so that meant that he was stuck droning, stuck trying to recover, whereas Neeb was able to capitalize on that early damage. GG, well played. With that, congratulations, Neeb. He will claim the series and he will advance on to the winners match. Meanwhile, it looks like we do have an observer in the other series. Maxed versus Cyan, they are in the ace match. So Ben, we just jumped right on in. I do appreciate this. It looks like this is a change from yesterday, but it looks like they do have an observer in both series, so they can kind of switch back and forth. Do appreciate it. Here in the ace match, I don't really know what happens early on, but both players are going Robo. Jesus, okay. 1-base Robo out of Maxed and Cyan. Looks like we're going to be expanding from here, though. Yeah, we are going to be expanding, and we might just settle into a standard game. Again, I don't know what happened in game 1 or game 2, but we're at least able to see the ace match. What to do with hatch block to adepts now? Yeah, I mean, hatch blocks are going to be that much more brutal. You might just need to go into like earlier hatcheries to get your hatchery down and to be able to get your comfortable setup. Setting up the music. Yeah. Okay. We'll lock in. We'll settle on in as the game is calming down. So we are getting into our initial 2-base setup here. Early robos from both players. So it looks like very similar builds. I did notice that I think it was Maxed having the slightly faster robo compared to Cyan. Slightly faster. So just catching up. Don't think anyone would come back due to the support of SE2. We'll see. I mean, again, there's some hope for maybe Neeb returning just because he joined onside. Obviously, Dark, he wants to return post-military service, which is going to be at the end of the year as well. But we'll see. Sword Up stays into the main base. Cyan is out of position at the same time. Cyan gets into the main as well. Yeah, Probe's going to be going down. Sandy commits into the main. Force field on the ramp as well. Oh my god, he does outposition Maxed. Maxed, can he recall into the main? No energy. No energy for a recall. So Max said out of position, bleeding out stalkers, bleeding out probes. Better concave here for Cyan. Going for the pylon as well. We have to pull the boys. Yeah, force to pull the boys here. And that Immortal's not a part of the fight. The Immortal's still stuck on the low ground. Still can't engage. So much damage being done here. 21 probe kills. And there's the recall. There's the recall to try to get the Immortal into the fight. Bring the Immortal in. F2, Pappy, F2. We need the Immortal. Ah. And Max said he will defend the main base, but at what cost? He's lost so many of his workers. Max said he's down to 6 probes. Down to 6 probes, Pappy. Ay, ay, ay. Meanwhile, Cyan, he also sustained some losses, but he's on 15. He's on a 1 base economy. 17 probes here for Cyan. We'll bleed out a couple of workers here for sure. Another 2 probes going down. But Cyan, he will be able to outscale Max said. It was very chaotic, very, very chaotic here. But Cyan, he got into the main base, force field of the ramp. Going for the mineral line. There's barely any workers to begin with, Pappy. No, leave them alone. Leave the probes alone, Pappy. Ay, ay, ay. As Cyan pulls away. 2 probes go down. Oh my god, that prism is stuck. The prism is stuck. Yeah, prism's gonna be trapped here. But again, Cyan doesn't need to commit to any more aggression. Like Cyan, he's up by 10 workers. He can just get out, so calm down, build up his economy, and secure himself. Just has to make sure that he doesn't get caught up by like Dark Templar or Adept Harass. Just has to maintain control. As some of the production isn't even powered. Ah. And it's going to be a rough road to recover here for Max said. And he gets scattered. No. Yeah, I believe, yeah, he has been seen. There's potential with the proxy pylon, but likewise going to be shut down as well. Going to be shut down. From here, Cyan just building up his immortals. Doesn't quite get the pylon yet, but again, he can still reinforce his position. And Max said he's huffing a bit of copium here to try to recover. Again, there's always some ways to get some economic damage, but when it comes to the main army, like I don't see it, Pappy. I don't. Yeah, Cyan is pushing. He's pushing through the center. He's got 2 immortals, Warp Prism, Micro Potential, and of course the ability to reinforce. Max said back at home, I believe he still has that 1 immortal and a handful of gateway units, but yeah, he's got half the supply. And upstage drop into the main. Cyan rotates towards the natural. Here it does Mirren, does rotate. Catching up some adepts, and even without these force fields, GG gets called. GG gets called, and Cyan, he will claim the series. He will advance on 2-1 over Maxed. GG. Whew. GG, well played, congratulations. Cyan, he will claim the series. Again, a very chaotic game here as both players did get into each other's bases, but we did see that Cyan committed further by going into the main, force fielding the ramp, and out positioning his opponents. If you remember, we saw the non-stop force fields on the ramp, and there was no energy for a recall, so Max said he was stuck on the low ground, could not recall into his main base for a very long time, and despite being up in Immortals, he couldn't use it. He couldn't make use of his Immortals, he couldn't make use of his army, so he was just out position, lost far too much, and then GG. The game continued a little bit longer from there, but there was very little room for comeback for Maxed after losing all those workers and being out position. So GG. GG well played. With that, congratulations. That does mean that we have a PvP, Neeb versus Cyan in the winners match. Meanwhile, we have a PvZ in the elimination match, Impact versus Maxed. Now, I don't know which one we're going to be casting. Yesterday, there were moments where we did not cast the winners match, by the way. We did not catch the Oliveira winners match just because I believe they wanted to feature some of the returning players more so than the others. So we'll see. We'll see what we cover. I would imagine they probably want to follow Neeb versus Cyan. That would make the most sense, but they might want to avoid a mirror matchup. So we'll see. We shall see, as they should be both happening at the same time. For now, we're going to be come to a short break, and then we'll be back with our next series, whatever that happens to be. Catching up in the chat. Just realized it's best of one. It was a best of 3. It was a best of 3. It's just we jumped into the ace match. Best of 3. But yeah, with that, we're gonna be going on a short break. When we come back, we'll have a next series. Again, I don't know if we're gonna be following the winners match or the elimination match. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon after the break. See you soon. Bye.